Hey, what's up, Joe Joe in the Morning family? I hope everybody's having a super good Friday. I want to give you something to think about as you are going into this weekend, okay? What would your life look like right now if you would have got rid of that one thing? What would your life look like in the future if you get rid of that one thing? Now, that one thing is different for everybody. I remember one time I had this idea, you know, I thought, like, what if people wrote down the top 3 things they struggle with, top 5 things they struggle with, and they aggressively went after those things one thing at a time. I remember I'd always tell people, like, if you make a list of the top 5 things that you struggle with and go after that number one thing first, then number 2, then number 3, then number 4, then number 5, you would live your life with the 5 things that you struggle with the most removed out of your life. Now, for some people, it may be a reoccurring sin. Some people, it could be a reoccurring emotion, fear, insecurity, jealousy. You know, it may be a situation that happened to you, a circumstance. Somebody may have left you. Somebody may have did you wrong. You may have been overlooked. You may have been rejected. If you can remove that situation from your mind, how would everything change? I remember one time I was doing a conference and this guy came up to me and said, "Hey, what's up, man?" And I said, "Hey, bro, man, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't remember you." He said, "Oh, man, you met me," and he named the place. And I said, "Oh, okay. Sir, I'm so sorry. I don't remember you." He said, "You don't remember praying for me in the altar at this conference?" And I said, "No, sir, I'm sorry." He said, "Oh, yeah, we were over there in the very corner of the altar. And I was this drugged out dope head and I was like, wait." And I looked at him. I said, "What?" I started jumping up and down. I started shouting, and I said, "You," and I remember what he was wearing. I told him what he was wearing. And he said, "Yeah, that was me." I said, "Bro, come here." I gave him the biggest hug. I could not even imagine this dude looking like he did. He probably put on about 30 pounds, dressed nice, just everything about him was different. Countenance was great. He had a joy and a peace about him. He got rid of one thing. Got rid of one thing. I remember one time this little couple, kind of the same story. I was at a church and I preached, and then I came back like 2 years later. That church missed the Lord and didn't have me back the next year. They waited till, they skipped a year. And I was talking to them and they were like, "Hey, do you remember us?" And I'm like, "No." And they said, "Well, we were beat down with depression, insecurity, just you name it. It was all emotions. There was no drugs, no alcohol, no pornography, nothing like it. It was just straight up insecurities." And I started talking to them and I said, "Wait a minute. Are you that one couple?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh my gosh. You are not in day different." It was emotional stuff they got rid of. I've seen so many people, they've got everything working for them. Besides, they got one toxic friend that keeps pulling them down. They get rid of that friend, they just start moving forward. That friend can be like a chain that holds them back. But then they start moving forward. Everybody's got that one thing. I know some people who are so full of jealousy, it destroys them. I've seen so many ministers that are so jealous of certain ministers. I know people who they struggle with different things, little things. Nothing is worth holding on to that will cost you salvation or fulfilling your kingdom purpose. There's nothing. If you're married, your spouse deserves for you to let go of that one thing. Your kids, if you have kids, deserve for you to let go of that one thing. I remember one time my wife and I were talking to this young lady, and she said, I was done so wrong by a church. That I was hurt so bad that I can never forgive them. She told us that over 10 years ago. She's still struggling with life today. Because she was right. She couldn't let go of it. She could have, but she chose not to. She chose not to. I remember one time we were at the new people at this church that I was at. We were talking to this one couple. And this lady walked in, we were talking, and she told us what all she was doing and what all her and her family had accomplished. And I'm talking like, you want to talk about kind of like the idea of family. And we were like, wow, you must have been raised in a godly home, a home where your parents were entrepreneurs or great business owners. And she said, no, not at all. My parents were divorced. I was raised very poor. She went into it, abused, molested by a stepdad, when she was really young for years. She said, but I chose to live a happy life, a fulfilled life. I forgave him, my mom, and everybody else because I said, I'm going to do something with my life. I'm going to be something, and I'm going to accomplish the will that God has. I'm like, wow, you are like a hero, a champion of champions. So we all determine. Some people have the mindset that my parents were poor, I'm going to be poor. Some people have the mindset my parents were wealthy, so la-di-da, everything's going to be given to me now. I've seen some of those dysfunctional kids have the most successful parents in business and in ministry. And so we got to determine, are we willing to get rid of anger, greed? Some people just need to straight up forgive themselves. Everybody deals with something. I'll tell you one of the craziest ones. I've seen so many people who started thriving in life and felt like they didn't deserve what they'd worked for. And God was all over them. God was blessing them. And they lost it because they didn't feel like they deserved. My wife and I, we live a life full of fasting and prayer. And everything that we receive through us working, we receive it. Everything God just supernaturally blesses us with, we receive it. Every key relationship He puts in our life, we honor it. And so daily we work on our mindset. One of the best things I do with my life is every day I get before God. When I wake up, I go to the prayer chair and I say, God, show me something that I need to work on today. Show me something that I need to do. Do I need to forgive somebody? Do I need to forgive myself? Do I need to ask somebody to forgive me? Do I need to sow money into somebody? Do I need to encourage some? What do I need to do, God? What do I need to do? Who in my family do I just need to reach out to, call, and speak life into, love on? Who in our church, our ministry, our health coaching community? Which person in our mentoring program needs extra attention today? Who is it, God? What do I need to do today? And the Bible talks about us being a living sacrifice, laying our life down on the altar. When we do that, God can use us in a great and mighty way. And then I ask the Lord this key question every day. God, show me any lie that I have believed about myself. I've been doing that for years. There was a time that I used to stutter a little bit. I had a slur to my voice. People made fun of the way that I talked, and so I didn't want to speak a whole lot. There's times that I struggled reading. Some teachers thought I was dyslexic, so I didn't want to read in front of people. Well, if you're going to be a minister, you're going to have to read the Bible in front of people. You're going to have to speak in front of people. There was times I hated videos. There was times I said, I don't have anything to say. Who would listen to me? Hey, listen, I'm talking about 4 years ago. I told an old friend of mine, I was like, why would I want to do social media? I mean, who would listen to me? Who would listen to me? And you just say, God, what lie have I believed? And the Lord would start speaking to me. You have something to say. Open your mouth and I'll fill it. And so I remember when I got ready to start a health coaching business, I said, God, I'm a traveling minister, a pastor, a preacher, an author, health coaching. The Lord said, I want you to help a lot of people. Same thing, we started our social media. I mean, it was just like, do it. I remember when the Lord told me to start Joe Joe in the morning. I was like, okay, God. When God told me to start our mentoring program, I was like, God, my day is so full. I don't know how I'm going to work it in, but I will absolutely love it. When God told us to start our church, I was like, God, I have no desire to have a church. And the Lord said, but I need a remnant. I need a house of prayer. I need a church that will not limit me. I need a church who will be full of the power of God, full of the Spirit, and they will not quench the Spirit for man's agenda in the Texarkana region. And I said, okay. Listen, remove that one thing. Remove mindsets. Remove limitations. You know, I was talking to somebody a while back, and they were like, we don't have any retirement savings for the future. I said, can you start with $20 a week? Yeah. Think you can start with $30 a week? Whew. Maybe. Do you think you can start investing $50 a week? They said, oh, no. That's okay, back it up. Do you think you can start investing $40 a week? I said, yeah. I said, that is a phenomenal place to start. And they were like, on $40 a week? I said, yeah, if you figure up, the average month is 4.3 weeks. You're looking at about $175 a month. It's a good place to start. And so you help people where they're at to see differently. Oh, I can. So all of a sudden they started saving. They got so addicted to saving. We're up to 50. I think they're at 70, $50 a week. Joe, we're $60 a week. Joe, we're at $10 a day. Joe, $75 a week. Joe, $80 a week. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are absolutely killing it. And so they got in their mindset, we can start saving. Man, I love helping people win. And I love when people help me win. I got a lot of people in my life that help me win. Okay? So I love you guys. Hey, I want to pray for you. If you want prayer, go to my website, joejoedawson.net. Go to the contact button, hit it, send me a prayer request. I also want to thank all of our financial partners, all of our prayer partners, and I also want to thank every person that's a part of our health coaching community and our mentoring program. Love you all so much. Hope you have a blessed day.